Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the stream. It's me, Digi. Welcome back to the stream, and I'm hearing myself chatting, and I should stop. Hold on. Okay. I'm almost tempted to start the stream over, but I'm not going to worry about it. Hopefully, everybody's doing okay. I am getting myself set up for today's flight, and this whole unofficially unofficial, but officially unofficial, officially world tour has been kind of fun. Actually, it's been pretty cool. I've been covering lots of ground and having a nice time flying airliners to destinations that I don't typically fly to and from. So we are going to be departing Delhi. I think it's Indira Gandhi International, and we're going to be flying to either the new Istanbul Ataturk or the old. No, not definitely not the old, but this is just called. I think it's just called Istanbul. I think. Yeah, just Istanbul. So there was an older airport which is no longer being used, which I think used to be, what was the ICAO code? LTBA, and now we're flying out of LTFM. So it's a bigger airport. It's on the other side of what I would call the isthmus, separating Europe from Asia. And we are getting ourselves set to depart. Also, I do have some real-time traffic on, like I've been flying lately. And we are reprising flights in the PMDG 777. Today is going to be under the guise of Etihad Alpha 6 Echo Tango Golf is the registration. We're going to be Etihad 107 Heavy. Let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully my levels are good. It is kind of quiet, but we do have external power available, so let's go ahead and plug that in, get the battery on, and start doing a few things like aligning the IRSs, IFE, and cabin utility on. And let's get the window heats on so I don't forget. Emergency lights armed. And we'll get electrics on because I'm lazy and I don't have the slightest interest in learning procedures for getting this thing properly started up today. Just gonna have a good time. Seatbelts to auto. We are going to start the boarding process relatively quickly so we can get going. It's going to be about a 6.5 hour flight today, so we're going to have some time to chill. Even at 4x, I'm assuming this stream is going to take about 2.5 hours or so. So let's assume they've already catered us, or since it's going to take a little bit of time to get loaded, let me get the catering service started at least. So I'm going to double check weight and balance and loadout. And in the meantime, I'm going to get the logo and nav lights to make sure they're on. And packs on. That should be good. At least I think so. So the screens should be coming on shortly. I'm hopeful they should. Did I forget to do anything? No, I think they're coming on. All right, so let's get brightness up to that point. Why are these so dark? There we go, that's better. All right, now let's make sure ground connections are set. We already have ground power, and we already have the jetway connected. So wheel chocks are set. Hey, Sogan. So happy to see you, my friend. Welcome aboard. Let me get my screen set up where I can see it. That way, I'll make sure I know to see you guys coming in to chat. Got another 4X flight. This one's going to be going to Istanbul today. So happy to have you aboard. We should be departing here probably like another, I'd say 25 to 35 minutes, and then we'll be up in the air. And the usual spin is we'll go to 4X after we clear at least like 10,000 feet. But Sogan, very much privileged to have you aboard, my friend. Welcome. We are getting set for our flight today. We are flying the Etihad livery and getting catered, and we're just making sure that we get our stuff ready to go. Let me go to the left side over here and start getting my EFB set. I have my SimBrief flight plan in place, and I think I can also get weather as well. Winds 120 at 5, and we have clouds at 10,000. Temperature 30, and the QNH is 1008, which is cool. So now we have data, and let's see. Chocks are installed. We have the ground power installed. Let's get door management going. Entry 1 left. No, entry 2 left. So opening, and these doors should be closing once they're done with layout. Yes, that is correct. Istanbul is Turkey. Istanbul used to be Constantinople. Why they changed it, I can't say. People just liked it better that way. I don't know. Musical reference if you caught that. But that should be fine for now. And let's go ahead and go straight to performance. We're going to import performance from the OFP. I guess I have to pick 11. Wait, we said 11 left, so why is it 11 right the only runway I can choose? I mean, I'll pick 11 right for the sake of performance calculations. There's not going to be that much of a difference. At least I don't think so. That's good. That's good. Because usually geography issues are more a digi issue. So let's see. Yeah, 11 right is actually longer, but not by much. 11 left is like 13,681 feet, and 11 right is 14,500 plus. So we should be fine. Import from OFP. Actually, let's see. Oh, you know what? I need to actually get the weight and balance set. Not ground connections. Where's my stuff? That's the OFP. That's fine. Oh, wait. Hold on. No, 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 not there. Not there. I sometimes get myself tripped up trying to figure out where to go. Weight and balance right in front of me. Okay. So import weight and balance from SimBrief. And we're going to do precise loading. And I think that should be it. So we should have. Where's my fuel? Oh no, wait, that's weight and balance, not fuel. Okay. Weight and balance is there. EFB, you're still waiting for me to close doors. Okay. Okay, so it's gonna be close those two doors and request boarding. Sweet. That's interesting. Why is it opening again? Okay, that should be fine. I was trying to find where to go to get the fuel set up. It's not going to be a performance tool. Ground service vehicles. I'm not going to call for fuel. There should be another way to just load the fuel in. Probably in the FMC. That must be what it is. Okay, so go back to fuel. And what's the fuel we're taking for today's flight? Let's just take a look at the flight plan. Block fuel is going to be 115017. Yes, it is. Okay, so again, 115017. There we go. And return payload. We're taking 298 passengers. Yeah, this is actually inconsistent. So let me go back to the okay, so precise loading, 298. That's a lot better. Thank you. There we go. Precise loading. And let's go back to aircraft. And now we're going to import from aircraft. And let's see if that's consistent. The weight is going to be a little bit heavier than what was on the plan, but again, loads of room on the runway, so I don't think there's going to be a problem. Aircraft config auto, NES config is probably going to be off, or at least engine auto. Yeah, I'd say off. And then we're going to import the weather, and we'll calculate. So probably somewhere in the 160s for takeoff performance, and L temp's going to be 45. Okay, so let's move right along. There we go. Now we got the passenger numbers that we were looking for, and wonderful. We have folks getting boarded, and what do we need? We need nothing with the doors, just to get the flight plan set up. Let's go to the FMC, get underway. Inertial position. Let's go ahead and add our departure. So this is Victor India Delta Papa, and I think this is gate 220. Okay, so we'll take the gate and we'll set it as the position. Go to route, VIDP, and then route request from SimBrief. Select the route. So we'll set the payload, we'll set the fuel, and we'll select the route. So now we're loading it. By the way, chat, please let me know if the volume is too quiet or too loud. I want to make absolutely sure we're good. And it looks like we have route uplink ready. Let's load. Okay. Going to activate and execute. And now we're going to do 1-1 left. So here we go. On to Perfinit. And gross weight for today, just off the SimBrief, is going to be 551.5. 551.6 if we want to be overloaded. Wait. Okay, never mind. I'm going to leave the top one alone. Zero fuel weight should be 437.9er. Why is that incorrect? I mean, I know I'm rusty on a triple, but let's see. Am I missing something? $559.7 for takeoff weight. And why can't I see my own zero fuel weight? Let's see. Go back to payload. Zero fuel weight is actually 198.6. Why are these numbers so weird? Gross weight, so probably max takeoff. Okay, gross weight's going to be 250.8. Why are these numbers different? Okay, double check what the fuel's supposed to be. And no, no, you're so far off the mark. Okay, this is probably why I got tripped up before, because for some reason the fuel wasn't loading. Okay, again, not going to be there. Got to be somewhere else. Weight and balance. That's better. Hmm. A little bit trippier than usual, so again, I'm kind of wondering why my fuel levels are so low. We do have the right number of passengers, so now my zero fuel weight is higher. Again, no clue why my fuel keeps resetting, but we're gonna double check it. Block fuel is gonna be 115017. Okay, so now takeoff weight's gonna be around 316.7, and that should hopefully take care of our problems. 201.7 for zero fuel weight and 316.7 for takeoff weight. All right, let's see if this works this time. There we go, much better. All right, let's see. Flying at flight level 360 today, heading westbound, and performance in the data we're going to accept. And max altitude 331. So we may not get there, but that's fine. 45 for cell temp. And takeoff, so full takeoff thrust today. Gonna have fun with that. D rate for climb. And let's see, what did they say for performance? Takeoff performance was gonna be flaps 5. Okay, I like that. Flaps 5. And CG is going to be a trim of 5.5. Let's get that set. Okay, 5.5 set. And execute that. And now we have our speeds. Actually, the speeds are higher, which is a little bit interesting to me. But that's fine. We have a really, really long runway, so I think we should be fine. 174, 181, 184 V2. Let's go ahead and pop that on the MCP. Like, way higher, which is a little bit strange, but not out of the ordinary. Hectopascals, when we get to Istanbul, we're going to take the ILS Zulu approach for 3-4 left, and Do I need to put in the nav data? I don't think I do that here. Boarding is completed, and I think the ILS is going to be selected for us. So I don't think I had to worry about that last time that we flew, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. At least I don't think so. I don't see anything to bug up our course heading on the MCP, so I think we should be fine. That should be automated, at least the last time I remember. And I don't see anything down here that shows me where I can bug up the um, ILS approach. So, barring any issues, I think we're almost done. Let's go ahead and get the APU started at least. Get the beacon light on. And what else am I missing? Do we have any fuel in the center tanks for today? We have a little bit, actually, sorry, a lot. So we will take center pumps today as well. NEI's auto. Oh, right. I was looking for the minimums. So MTA is going to be 525 feet. Let's go ahead and pop this up. Okay, 525 set. And traffic is set. Weather is on. Flight directors are on. Auto throttle is armed. LNAV, VNAV bugged up. And let's go ahead and finish up. So, back to the menu. FS actions. Doors. Let's go ahead and close all doors. And we'll see whether or not I can arm them or if they will be armed automatically. I'm also not going to worry about that too much. Let's go to FMC and let's finish planning our flight. Man, does my brain feel discombobulated today. Whew. Okay, so really quick check on our departure. We're flying the Suram 6 Golf departure. And looks like we're going to be going direct to Suram, but I don't think I've chosen the departure actually. So 11 left has been chosen. 6 Golf. 6 Golf. There we go. Done. So now we have the other waypoints added. That's good. All right, and we've got several waypoints. Several waypoints. Wow. Many, 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 many waypoints. And where's mirror? Go back. Where's abscess? Oh, okay, there we go. There's a lot of waypoints. Okay, Elon is probably... Okay, there we go. Cancun is going to be on the arrival, just the next one before the arrival, which means we want to get the arrival set. Arriving into Istanbul is going to be the... Cancun 1 Alpha arrival. And we'll take ILS Zulu 34 left. And now we have our departure, our flight. and then we have a whole bunch of waypoints. Um, Spoiler alert, I'm probably going to skip over all of them to get to our approach much more quickly, unless I just leave it at 4x until we rip through those, and that'll be my one exception to the world tour where I actually just fly those things that way. Okay, so we've got the flight plan and we've got the performance. So now I think we should be okay. Let me double check what I said for takeoff weight. FS actions, payload. Yeah, 316.7. Why did let's see, 2 and 3, cargo, takeoff config, 0 fuel weight, 316.7. Am I missing anything? I don't remember. Oh, let's see. Winds. Winds are variable at 2. So we're going to say 1102. Takeoff speed's deleted. Slope is dry. Well, ground is dry. And pretty much the same speeds means that's it. Okay, so we've got takeoff performance. We've got the waypoints in. And now I think we're actually ready to go. The only thing I have to finish is the initial climb. The absolute minimum was 1,700. There's no minimum. 5,000 is a transition. So we'll get going to 5,000. And then once we get set up on the way out, I can go all the way up to 360. And the magnetic deviation for 11 left is 103. Okay, so 103 is set, and let's double check things. Get the panel lighting all the way up. It's going to be a daytime flight. Could be a dusk or evening arrival. I don't know. I'm a little bit confused. So we'll just have fun with what we have. APU gen is on, so I should be able to disconnect the primary power. And let's go ahead, go downstairs, and first off, make sure that the parking brake is set because we want to unplug. Ground connections, when I remove the chocks, everything should be removed. And that should do it now. Let's go ahead, do a straight pushback, and then we will taxi to our departure runway. Fortunately, when we depart, we'll get to link 6, turn right on Charlie, and then Charlie becomes Quebec, and we take Quebec all the way down to the terminus for 11 left. Signaling, hello. Is the volume a bit low? Let me double check. I'm going to boost the volume a little bit. Hopefully it won't get too loud. Just let me know. Sorry if I missed your message before. We should be fine now, I think. And while we're waiting, pre-flight override. Before start, MCP is set, takeoff speeds are set, CDU pre-flight completed, trim is set, 5.5, taxi and takeoff briefing, we're going to taxi and take off. So now I think we should be okay, and I'll leave this here. I definitely do not want anyone's ears to hurt. So I will let you guys know if the volume gets to, if I'm going to be doing an external view. All right, should be a straight push back. Okay, stand by. I guess it's got to be one of those hold down the button before you let go of the parking brakes. There we go. Okay, there we go. We are off the block. The timer is now on. Let's go ahead and go upstairs, turn off the packs, and start turning on some engines. Engine number 2, please. Everything else on your computer is blasting. Okay, hang on. Let me know if my microphone is better or worse. Like right about here. And the sim volume is not that far off the mark. All right, give me a bit. Okay, that's about 20-ish, maybe 25%. Roll back, let's get engine number 1 started. All right, thanks for the feedback. All right, feeding the fuel right about now, and that should take care of engine startup, as long as I see EGT kicking up. Okay, here are the engines. There we go. So again, after we leave the apron, it's going to be a right turn on Charlie into Quebec, and that's it. Auto brake RTO, and we're going to do flaps 5. 1 and 5. Trim is set. Let's do a flight controls check real fast. Okay, flight controls look good, free and clear. And let's go ahead and get some nose light and wing light action going here. Packs can come back on. Generators are running. Let's turn the APU off. Okay, and there is our grounds crew. I see the gear pin right there. Thank you very much. Let's get out of town, chat. So, double checking. ADIRUs are on. IFV and cabin utility on. Battery is on. APU is off. We have gens running. Window heat's on. Hydraulics and electrics are on. Air and electrics are auto. Signs and no smoking signs are on. We have engines running and pumping fuel. All the downstairs lights on. Well, not all of them, but all of the ticket items are on. and we have packs running, and we have auto pressurization. Let's get the cabin temp down low. That should do it. Let's see. Anything I'm missing? Nope. We checked the flight controls. Ground equipment is clear. And where's the recall? Recall good. Auto brake RTO. Parking brake set. Passenger signs on. Anti-ice is required. Okay. Cool. There we go. Let's get going. It might get loud. I'm going to set my window cam, so stand by. There we go. I like that view. All right. Parking brake should be gone. It is gone. And let's give it some juice. Here we go. Okay. It took a while, but I mean, let's see. Roughly 30 minutes for a startup? Not too shabby. I mean, it could have gone a lot faster, but I'm okay with that. Looks like we're going to line up behind the Air France departing, which is cool. Alright, I think I accidentally deployed the spoilers. Let's take a look at the FMC message once I get on Charlie. We have no traffic approaching from the left and none from the right. Let's see. Like I said, we'll go ahead and follow them out of town. That's cool. FMC message said takeoff speeds deleted. Okay, so the takeoff speeds didn't really change that much. Like V2 is like 2 extra knots, so we're fine. Do we have a heads-up display? Nope, we don't. That would be the 787-10. At least the 9, so we're not flying either today. This is the the PMDG 777-300. This has the GEs, so we're going to have some nice power climbing out of Delhi on our way to Istanbul this afternoon. Looks like the AI traffic is taking Romeo. So you know what? Let's be consistent. Let's go ahead and follow them out of town. Welcome aboard, everyone. This is another unofficial leg of our officially unofficial world tour. We started in Vancouver in Canada, in British Columbia, in that province, and we flew from Vancouver to Tokyo, Narita. Then the second flight we did was, I believe, Narita to Singapore, Changi, and then last weekend we flew Singapore to Delhi, and today we're flying Delhi to Istanbul. You're doing an intersection departure? Rock on. Did I miss something? Oh, no. Yeah, I'm gonna use up all the room. Don't mind me. Love you too. Looks like they made that choice as well. Um, is there anything that I am missing with regards to this runway? No, because there's another runway over. That's actually one right. Exactly. Exactly. So we're crossing a kind of hold short point. Did I miss something? Huh. Stand by. More runway, more gooder. Okay. Well, hang on, chat. I'm getting a little bit tripped up. I just want to make sure we're not going out the wrong place. Okay, so that is what I thought was 1-1, right? Why am I confused? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll follow these folks out of here. I am assuming... Well, it looks like we're going to use 1-1 right after all. That's fine. One left was supposed to be around here somewhere. It's not. So, is what it is. I'm not going to stress. Like I usually like to say, if that's the only problem that we actually have today, I'm happy. But not bad. This is a 6.5-hour flight, which we are not going to do real time, because that would mean that I'd be wrapping up around like 10:30 something at night. And not necessarily that I care in the sense that, okay, it's Saturday, we can do this, but I like these kinds of flights at 4x speed, and I'll share with you why once we get up in the air. Let's see, do we coast on idle thrust in this plane? We don't seem to, which is good. Gives me some time to get ready. So, strobe lights on, taxi lights off. Everything should be set to go here. And am I missing anything? No, I don't think so. Let's hit the chrono. Oh, wait. The chrono does the time acceleration thing, so I'm not going to worry about it. We are ready to go at 12 minutes, which is about 2 minutes past when I normally like to be off the ground at an airport. I'm fine. The Air France flight is now airborne. And again, a little strange that I didn't see a runway 11 left here, unless the charts that are available are actually really old. Okay, flight attendants, please take your seats for takeoff. It's fine. We'll scroll the speed up manually. Engine stable. Full send, sir. Full send. Full takeoff.
80 knots.
80 knots. Ah, that's sweet GE music.
V1. Rotate. V2.
We are airborne. Gear up. Flaps 1. And flaps up. Man, this bird likes to climb and go fast. "800 feet, autopilot on. Nose light off. Gears up, flaps are up. Okay, on our way up to 5,000. And like I said, the Air France flight is in front of us. Otherwise, I don't see an issue. So we're going to go ahead and go all the way up to 360. Book of Gaming, welcome aboard, my friend. Great to have you here. God bless you and keep you and watch over you in Jesus' name. Okay, 360 bugged up. This is a problem. Flight attendants, why aren't you taking care of Book of Gaming? Come on, chop chop. All right, we are past 5,000 feet, so that's not, we're not in the States, which is always 18,000 feet. Since we're above 5,000 feet on our way out of Delhi, we can go to standard pressure. Just ordered a burger. Actually, interesting story, Signal. I made turkey burgers and baked potatoes last night. They were delicious. So, beautiful, done. Roughly 4 minutes later, we're up in the air, we're climbing, we're on our way to 10,000 feet, at which point we'll turn off the landing lights. And we have some traffic nowhere near us at the moment on their way out of Delhi. And that's either a shadow or a different plane. Busy day over here. Nice. Ah, beautiful. Can I get a burger? 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 Can I get a burger? Nice. I did go flaps up, right? Yes, I did. Okay. Coming up on 10,000 feet. We will celebrate this event by turning off our landing lights and turning off the wing light because number 1, it's daytime, number 2, I don't care. I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, number 7, two number 45s, 1 with cheese and a large soda. Slow down there, Big Smoke. Listen. Some people get hungry. I can respect that. Alright. So, past 10,000 feet, and do we have any restrictions on the departure? The departure. Let's see. We need to be at or above flight level 110, so I'm kind of... Okay, we are climbing. I guess it wants to get up to climb speed. Got it. There's no restrictions, but we had to stay below 7,000 feet at the waypoint we just passed with a max of 250, which is probably why we didn't finish our climb. For the connoisseurs. I tell you what, man. There are some days when, like, you get so hungry, you will literally go through the drive-thru window at insert favorite fast food joint and just devour a burger or some kind of carnivorous substance and be like, I'm so hungry. That tasted so good. So that is what it is. It does exist. It is a thing. So gear engines. There we go. Okay. Numbers in the white looking good. Got a load of power coming in through those GE engines right now. We're booking. Sonic, the only reason I go is for a chili cheese coating. Basically, everything else is like gravy. I don't multi-stream. I usually only stream on Twitch. I'd consider that, but at the same time, it's not a big deal for me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the 4X phase of flight. We are above transition altitude, and we are going to 4X this flight, which means it's going to take 4 times as less time. So a 6.5-hour flight is basically going to take about 1.75 hours. 2.5 hours for today's stream, maybe 2 3/4 hours while I'm yapping. But now we are in the fast forward phase. But yeah, usually I only stream on Twitch. There was a time I was experimenting with Kick, and I might go back there again. But I'm a simple guy. I like to have one streaming platform, one area where I focus on chat. Because I think for me, and I don't know about anybody else, but mostly for me, if I were to start multi-streaming, what would happen would be I would have to start paying attention to 1, 2, 3 different chat sources, and then on top of doing everything that I'm doing, especially if I'm flying on an air traffic control network like VATSIM, I've been paying attention to multiple stream sources, bandwidth, and keeping up with chat. So I have issues keeping up with conversations coming from one window, let alone 2 or 3. But I might try it one day, see what happens. I think most restreaming platforms are probably going to aggregate all the chats into your main chat window. I mean, that's what I've observed. So technically, I don't have to keep, multiple windows open. That's probably a, Digi skill issue. I don't think I actually have to keep different chat windows open for different platforms, but it's not something that I've investigated just yet. So, is what it is. At any rate, folks, we are rapidly approaching cruise altitude, and we are leaving India bound for Turkey. Let me take a look at my flight plan. We're already done with the departure, and I would say in the next 45 minutes we're going to be flying over Iran and then going into Turkey. Turkey's fairly long, so it's going to be a little bit before we actually begin our descent. But why does my chat service tell me that no. Twitch is having a moment right now. It says that the stream is unstable, but I don't see any drop frames, so I think I'm okay. Okay, welcome. Welcome again, everybody. Let me know if my levels are too loud. I think I'm kind of competing with the in-cabin noise, so I'm going to lower it a little bit and leave it where it kind of was before. So now you should be able to hear me. Signal in. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate that. Welcome to the Digi fam. Enjoy those emotes. Thank you very much for your support. Every little bit helps. I also have other forms of financial support for anyone else that wants to consider that. It's never required, it's always appreciated. The fact that I had folks to talk to today on stream is already great to begin with, so thank you. Also, I definitely appreciate my lurkers. You bring up the channel algorithm, as I like to say. So even if you're just listening to me in the background while you're going about your day or evening or morning, thank you. Thank you for being here. I am a long-time flight simmer. I've been streaming for a I've been streaming for a while. I've been flight simming for a very long time. And I'm a big fan of just how easily and readily MSFS has kind of allowed me to just see the world and see different places. Now, I will go ahead and say that most of the time I do not tend to fly outside my area. I'm stateside, but this world tour has officially given me the kick to go do it. If you are interested, not that you have to, certainly appreciate you for thinking of me that way. You can go to, I believe, let me see. Yeah, you can always go here if you feel so moved. Um, that is, to be honest, my preferred delivery vehicle for monetary support because it helps keep my family afloat financially. Um, and I won't pretend to say that I'm the only person that's having difficulty in life. I know so many of us are. I do not want to pester people for it. So this is probably going to be the only time you're going to see it, other than the occasional Streamlabs bot mentions. Um, Again, you being here is a gift. I usually try to take any income coming into the stream, mostly for family support right now, and what I call the gourmet potato chip fund. If I get a payout, then I'll usually wind up doing things like, getting dinner out for like myself and Mrs. Digi, or on occasion, picking up a flight sim add-on, which is going to enhance the experience. And we are at cruise right now, so I'm going to go ahead and turn seatbelt signs off. And I think that should do it. I kind of like how it's very easy to tell that you're at 4x speed in the sim because the font changes to red here. 2x is yellow and 1x is like the original amber color. But we have hit cruise speed and we are well on our way out of India if we haven't left already. We're almost to the border. We're crossing into Pakistan. And yeah, man, we are booking across the sky. I was tempted temporarily to go check out Paro today, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy I didn't because I wanted to continue the world tour, and I didn't really want to focus too much on sticking around because I'm flying westbound. I haven't decided yet whether or not I want to go up north into Europe, maybe even flying to Moscow or Belarus. Moscow would probably be the logical answer if I don't want to go to someplace like Helsinki or Stockholm from Istanbul. If I go south, I can probably do a circumnavigation of Africa, which, I mean, I barely touched the continent and I probably should go check those places out, which will give me the excuse to go visit South Africa, go to Cape Town, go to Johannesburg, go to probably some places on the southwest coast, and then loop back up to Morocco before hitting Spain or France. It is something that kind of crossed my mind. I'm like, okay, so let's see. I'm flying over India, Pakistan, Iran, and Turkey all in one shot in a sim. And I'm like, wow, because life, because real life stuff. Um, but it is what it is. It's definitely not a corridor I frequent. Let's be real. I probably should visit areas in this sector more. Once upon a time I did. I forget exactly where I flew, like the first time I went into India some years ago when I was just getting used to FS 2020. But I've flown into Dubai. I've flown out of Kuwait City in the past. So I don't know. I might have to come back and revisit that area more. Yeah. And I mean, okay, like it's something that I've thought of in the past, you know, conflict and tensions and whatnot, but in the flight sim, very fortunately, I'm not going to be intercepted by a random, fighter unless I had MSFS multiplayer turned on, which I don't. So I'm not expecting anything like that to happen unless there's actually an international incident where I'm seeing a literal aircraft get intercepted by literal fighter jets. So not something I've seen or witnessed played out by live traffic. So the odds of me actually experiencing that today are like non-existent. So I'm good. Also, gives me a chance to take a look at the landscape areas that I don't typically feast my eyes on. I I almost wonder I almost wonder if I should do an Africa light, like go down from Istanbul to Cairo and then go to like maybe um either what, like Libya or areas around there, and wind up at Marrakesh, and then maybe go down to Fuerteventura or Madeira, and then fly up to Toulouse. ring, ring, ring a ding ding, sir. You are correct. But fortunately, I would say um, most of the civilized world understands there's a certain airspace in a certain part of Europe which they're just not going to spend a lot of time in. So, I mean, at least right now, until certain things, let's just say, cool down. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But at any rate, where are we? We are officially in Pakistan, and I think we're going to go through Afghanistan next. Let me change my map layout because I can't see stuff here. Show me world map. Yeah, so we're in Pakistan. We're going to be going over Afghanistan. We're going to be going over Iran, which is a very big country. Wow. And then Turkey. So, what sea is this? Is this the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea? I think the Caspian Sea borders the northern border of Iran. So, I think that's correct. Well, Signal, thank you so much for your support. Let me switch my map view again and go back to Auto IFR, and that should do it. Follow the ship again, and that's it. Ooh, wow. Look at these mountains. See, this is something that I really, really, really do not typically see on my flights. I'm usually like an East Coaster, Philly, Orlando, Boston, occasional trips to like LAX and like San Francisco, but I have like a boring number of sectors that I frequent. This world tour is really getting me out of my shell. Really getting me out of my shell. This is actually pretty cool. At some point, I think I want to revisit Paro and do the approach and land in either like a either a triple or like an A330 for a challenge. But I would say either a 788 or a 737 of some kind, is gonna navigate that. A 737 way more than a 78, but it's been a while since I went to Paro, so I'm probably gonna go ahead and check that out. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I really do not frequent this part of the world much at all, and I'm starting to wonder if I shouldn't more. These vistas are amazing. And yes, by the way, Streamlabs activity confirmed. So again, thank you so much. All right, we are a little over an hour into our flight, and we have long since left India behind. We're almost on our way out of Pakistan into Afghanistan, and we're really booking. But I mean, this is Simrate 4X. A little bit bumpy, not too bad. Loads of mountains. This is amazing. This reminds me of going through the Rockies in like I'm gonna say like Arizona and Nevada. Almost burned into the back of your eyes. Oof. But look at these look at these areas. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's pretty breathtaking, actually. Wow. Okay, so it looks like we are almost done going through this mountain range. And how much time do we have before we actually start thinking about descent? Probably, I'm going to say like another hour and 15 minutes. Because we've been streaming now for about the past hour. And it took me about 30 minutes to get prepped. So again, another hour and a half, and we will either be lined up for final approach or descending into Istanbul, which means Iran's going to go by really, 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 really fast, even though it's an incredibly large country. So there we go. Um, Sorry, I had to yawn. What am I gonna do now? I think I need to go through some things. So this is another one of those streams where it's like I go through my stuff and decide what I'm gonna find or look through or take apart. But I also don't want to. What am I trying to say? I also don't want to have too much stuff running, because if it does, then I might risk the chance of a CTD. A sea of desert that consumes East Iran and South Afghanistan. This is incredible. Yeah, so we're definitely out of the mountain range. And if this isn't synthetic scenery, there's a load of sand dunes. That's incredible. So, interestingly enough, there's like this kind of, I don't know, altitude change or climb up. I'm tempted to say this looks a little synthetic, but it's not. I think this is actual satellite imagery, even if it's reduced image quality. Desert in a desert. Very deserty. Deserty. So, Tyro, welcome aboard, my friend. Thanks so much for stopping in today. We are flying from Delhi to Istanbul, and we are 4Xing it in the PMDG 777. Very nice to have you aboard. Let me give you an external shot. It is going to be loud. Oh, not that loud, but maybe. This is the PMDG triple. This is the 777-300, and we are flying the Etihad livery to Istanbul. I know it kind of doesn't line up. I was going to use the Turkish livery, but for some reason when I loaded in, the cockpit and the textures didn't load. So I might have to re-download all the things, but we'll see. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm really learning to appreciate the triple again. It's a really cool aircraft, and the takeoff roll on this bird is just unbelievable. The GEs sound so good when you step on them, man. So I've been unofficially 4X sim rating around the world, Tyro. I started in Vancouver. I went to Tokyo, to Singapore, and last week I went to Delhi, and now we're going to Istanbul. I'm deciding which direction I want to go when we get there for the next planned flight. I don't know if I want to go to, for example, say like Jeddah and then go down to like, Kenya and South Africa and then sheesh, I don't know. Go up the southwestern coast of Africa and cross the southern Atlantic and get to Brazil. That's a place I fly to almost as uncommonly as I do Africa, period. So this might be an excuse for me to get around the world. I mean, it's not going to take an incredibly long time because I'm flying airliners and I'm doing it at 4x speed, but I don't know. I think I like the idea of exploring more of the world than I usually do. Tyro, thank you so much for stopping in today. Really appreciate having you aboard along with everybody else. And if anybody's hearing you're lurking and you're like, maybe I should talk, don't stress. Don't worry. Simply you being here is good. Um, I've flown the triple a few times and I put it down for a while and I flew the 7.3 a lot, but I think after a few updates, I'm back to enjoying the 777, especially for the GE engines. And I've got like three different variants of the 787 in FS 2020. However, in FS 2024, I bought the standard edition because I didn't have a lot of money to actually buy, like, the super duper premium deluxe give me everything edition. I certainly didn't have enough money to afford the aviator edition. And standard is working out pretty well for me right now, even though I don't use it that much. At some point, I think Asobo is going to be like, okay, it's time to stop supporting FS 2020, and then the privateers are going to come in and either do more of their own kind of flavor of support, or MSFS is basically just going to say, no, send the kill switch, give people a massive discount, get them all over to FS 2024, and be done with it. Now, in their defense, as I've flown FS 2024 more and more, there are some issues that I experience, but I think the number of incidents is going down. Now, am I ready to swap over completely? Still no, because I think I want to finish some scenery developer projects. I build airports on occasion, mostly GA, but I'm actually trying to build 1 or 2 regional airports before I get done. And then I will switch over to FS 2024 specific scenery development, which would make things easier for me because I wouldn't have to have 2 different software development kits installed on my computer, and also potentially make Blender work easier too. They said 8 years of support. Okay, I mean, if I'm not going to get my 2020 airports done by 2028, I'm not going to get them done at all. If I'm not going to get my 2020 airports done by 2027, I'm probably not going to get them done at all. So that's fair, I feel. I mean, at that point, we're going to be dealing with other things with regards to, Flight Sim. Flight Sim 2028 is probably going to be out, or like, they're going to give Flight Sim a different name. It's a thing. It's a thing. I mean, I know I shifted things around because I temporarily got rid of P3D, and that might become permanent considering how little I was flying P3D and just how much space I got back. If I were to reinstall P3D and get everything set up the way it is, I probably wouldn't have enough room on a hard drive at this point, because I had like roughly 320 gigs worth of files set up for that install. So another 3 to like 5 or 10 gigs of like loose files left over after I uninstalled and removed aircrafts and folders and stuff like that. It was cool and all, and I mean, like, I genuinely liked flying in it and actually, plane spotting, but with how far we've come in terms of sim performance, leveraging DX11 and DX12 and using GPUs and CPUs much better, the old ESP platform, the platform in like FSX and P3D 1 through 5, that's the old guard. And barring a situation where you could continue to use P3D V5 with the proper technical configuration, I don't think we're going to have issues. At least I don't think I'm going to have issues missing P3D. I might, but I mean, if I want nostalgia, I have FSX for that, personally. Do I want to reinstall P3D again? Maybe, but I spent way more money and time in FSX, and I kind of sort of don't regret the expense that I put into that sim, because it was the only sim that I had for years. So I flew the metaphysical wings off that sim so much. I would dare say I got my money's worth. So I'm happy. I really am happy. Tyro, thanks for stopping in, my friend. Really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day, and I might catch you around the Twitchers, especially if we cross paths again in maybe Sim Caesar's stream if he's streaming tonight, which I'm assuming he probably is. So, take care, friend. Okay. Most likely, yep. We are coming up on the Afghanistan-Iran border, and the landscape is still super desert-ish, desert-like, desert period, desert inclined, desert inclined. If you are a sand aficionado, this part of the world is for you. You bacon me crazy. Welcome aboard, my friend. Very happy to have you aboard. We are 4Xing the world tour from Delhi to Istanbul. and we are in the PMDG 777. We have an Etihad livery, and we are booking it across Afghanistan into Iran, even as we speak. Yes, actually, that's correct. Way at the beginning, there was the Your Controls freeware mod for FS 2020, where you can share the flight deck with another person. And I also experimented with FS2 Crew with an animated first officer doing flights in the 737. I even got to the point where I was having a virtual first officer and virtual ATC through Say Intentions. I did a flight into Phoenix from, I think, San Diego doing that. It was literally off the charts immersion. I probably have an old livery. Let me take a look outside. Might get loud. This is probably the more classic livery, and I like how just there's only a few colors, but I think the livery shines more during like the morning or sun or evening times, because I think the low sunlight kind of like catches the base color a lot better, I want to say. I've never actually done like Your Controls, but I think I'm tempted to. It would be interesting because I think it would add so much more flavor to the streams. Now, on the other hand, I will of course say a big fat disclaimer. I try to do things more around scenery dev because I like building things and setting them up for download. On FlightSim.to, I'm Digi Driver, and for FS 2020, I have like 3 or 4 different, you know, low scenery, low complexity airports. Give me a moment. Did we overspeed? Give me the recall. Okay. I think I probably complained because I think we actually had a overspeed incident. That's fine. Autopilot's still on, LNAV VNAV is still on. Good. I'm glad I didn't set my final approach altitude already because we might have started descending. (2014 or 2015). This livery stuck with me, I will say. I haven't actually paid attention to Etihad liveries much. If we're talking about absolutely new airplanes, I might want to. So that's a thing, especially if I want to do um, Persian Gulf ops from, like, say, Kuwait City to Dubai. Oh, 500-foot elevation deviation. Thanks. One incredible updraft. I'm pretty sure Signal is just one of those MSFS things. When I'm flying, sometimes I think the weather reset might introduce winds in such an unusual vector that you either massively speed up or slow down or just drop or gain altitude immediately. But it happens on occasion. It usually doesn't tend to happen more than twice, more than 2 to 3 times in a flight, and usually no more than once, if ever. Yeah, it could be the 4x logic too. I know I don't want to fly at more than 4x because I think 4x is the maximum for all the calculations that you do and seeing traffic. So 4x is fine. It turns an 8-hour flight into like a 2 hour, into 2 hours of flight time. So that's fine. I was going to go through some stuff, but I'm kind of having fun catching up with chat and everybody. So I think I'll probably go through my cabinets and stuff once I'm done, and once I've cooked dinner tonight. I think I'm going to make some kind of variation on chicken and chips instead of fish and chips. and I might cut up some potatoes and make them into French fries. It shouldn't take too long to cook them, especially if I prep them really fast. But getting the chicken ready is probably going to be the least of my worries in terms of timing everything. I do more than a little bit of cooking sometimes for the fam, and Mrs. Digi has actually been cooking more. Uh, she's been dealing with mobility issues for some time, but I'm also, it's also nice to see her cooking as well, because like she'll have the energy and she'll make like cook all day stuff in a crock pot. Ooh, 12 a.m. Wow. Well, hey, thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate the support and the sub. Take care. I usually try to stream at least once a week. So Saturday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday is usually when you catch me here. Thank you so much, Signal. Have a great day or a great evening. Um, where was I? Oh yeah, just flying and talking about things. Where are we? We are definitely in Iran, and we are going to start seeing a great sea next to us unless the clouds completely obscure it. Off our probably 1 or 2 o'clock very soon. This landscape is unreal. This is incredible. Yeah, I'm liking the 777. Believe me when I say I like flying the 787 as well, but the triple is a great change of pace. And it's way easier for me to keep track of my accelerated status. Are you saying DCS or IRL? Interesting. Where did I want to go next? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, while it's on the front of my mind, let me think about where I want to fly to next from here. So, let me see. A roughly 2.5-ish hour stream at 4x, I could literally circumnavigate Africa, or or for the purpose of just kind of lightly settling in, I could probably go to, let's see. Well, we could go to Eritrea. Could go to Somalia. Or we could do an actual proper, like, 8-hour flight into Nairobi, which would then give me the excuse to do a flight all the way into Cape Town, and then from Cape Town we could go to somewhere, I think, in Nigeria, and then from Nigeria go up to, no, No, you know what? I could probably do like a legit like 4 hour stream at 4x because it'd probably take me about 9 or 10 hours to go from Cape Town to what I'm assuming would be Marrakesh. So if I hook a left turn, if I hook a left turn at Istanbul, then what will probably happen is I will fly from Istanbul to Kenya, Kenya to Cape Town, and then Cape Town all the way back up to like Casablanca, and then maybe Casablanca to Oslo. And we could do a few fast flights from Oslo to Keflavik, Keflavik to St. John's, and then start covering the northern and southern Americas. Can you make it all that way? Hey-oh! Nice! Whew. Stealth dad joke for the win. I think I can. I mean, at 4x, we're probably looking at reducing like an 8 or 9 hour flight to about 2.5 hours flight time, around that. And with the extra talking, it'd probably be like a 3 hour stream. So I think it is quite possible that we will be fine. If we go from um if we go from Istanbul to Nairobi, which again would give me an excuse to get myself down to Cape Town, which should be really cool. Oop, there we go. Just beyond these mountains, I think, is the I want to say the Caspian Sea. I want to say. All right, all right. Digi geography. Let's find out. Yes, yes, it is. That is the Caspian Sea. It's really big. Oh, there it is. Way out that way. So this is definitely not a part of the world that I frequent in the sim. A very interesting adventure, nonetheless. How are we on fuel? Oh yeah, we've got loads of it. We're burning the center tanks first. Center tank. Or center tanks first, yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Cool beans. Oh, you know what? Let's get our approach planned. The go around altitude. What is the go around altitude? Transition altitude for Istanbul is going to be 12,000. So I don't really see the approach. So I'm going to say 3,000 is going to be our go around, or our final approach altitude, which should be fine. And now I can definitely see the sea. Wow. Oof. Look at these mountains. Dude. We definitely have some weather going on here. Pretty neat. All right. So let's track with our flight. So we are about 45% of the way, and we have been streaming now for about the past hour and a half. So in another hour and a half, we should be either parked up or at least well on our way down into the approach. I would presume in the next hour is when we're going to be lined up. Excuse me. I would presume. It's definitely not a place that I've traveled to in the sim at all in the past. Let me go outside, take a look. Loads of actual greenery, which is cool. Loads of weather there as well. But yeah, look at those mountains. Very nice. All right, let's take a screenshot. So literally in another hour, we'll be on our way in, which just about makes sense. Just about. Which translates to like another... Well, wait. No. We'll actually be there in less than an hour because, sheesh, that would have been like a 4-hour stint and we're halfway through the flight. So theoretically, we have like just about 3.25 hours left on the entire flight. Which means in the next like half an hour to like 35 minutes IRL time, with my current acceleration, we should probably begin descending. So that means I want to start getting my descent set up. Do we have that on the fish finder at all? I don't see that yet. So I guess I'll keep waiting to see that, or if I see the airport out this far, then if I don't see a top of drop diamond, then that's where I'm going to actually set up my descent altitude. It's okay. It does look like we have a little bit of rain out here somewhere, which is cool. But again, thank you so much to everybody that's stopping in today and hanging out. Whether you're lurking or actively participating in chat or you're watching this on a replay. It probably will be on a replay. And yeah, again, thanks for being a part of today's stream. We are in FS 2020 and we're flying the PMDG 777-300 ER to Istanbul. And we took off a little while ago from Delhi. So from Victor India Delta Papa to Lima Tango Foxtrot Mike. Yes. Ooh, wow. I'm on my feet. I'm standing up. This is important. I mean, this would be even more important if I was actually flying this in real time. And And if you're wondering why everything's like moving around so much and why the digital readout on the clock is red, it's literally because I'm doing this flight at 4x speed. And for those people that are coming in for the first time or just paying attention now, and you're saying, hey, yeah, the sim is really flying fast. We haven't gone supersonic. The 777 is flying at about 450 knots over the ground with a fairly punchy headwind, but we are running the sim rate at 4 times normal speed because I like going to new places, but these days I kind of like setting up the flight and having a reduced time to destination because I like to spend less time up in cruise. And my justification for that is basically, if I was doing a flight like this, IRL, flying to anywhere, like say for example, flying from Tokyo to Singapore, then obviously I wouldn't be able to accelerate time. I would have to just endure the flight and get to Singapore when I get to Singapore, or get to wherever I'm going when I get there. In the sim, I can do flights like this in real time, and that's cool. I just find, unless I'm really doing something like going over the top, I try to accelerate time a little bit. If I'm doing like domestic flights, if I'm flying to a favorite destination of mine, that's usually going to be a flight that I'm going to let run real time. But the world tour, as it is letting me experience many destinations in a short period of time, and I think that actually it just appeals to me. And 4x doesn't appeal to everybody. That's fine. It's just something that I'm trying, which has genuinely made me appreciate uh, being able to go from one place to another relatively quickly. And I'm paying attention to this here just to see where we are. All right. Chat, let me just check my surroundings real quick. Want to make sure my pets are all right. I'm going to step away briefly and come back shortly. Stand by. Hello, chat. I'm back. Thanks for waiting for me, or thanks for stopping on in if you've just joined us. We are in Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is FS 2020, not FS 2024. This is the older of the two, and we're flying in a 777. We left Delhi and we're flying into Istanbul today. We've got probably another 35 minutes or so before we actually have to start thinking about descent or beginning our descent. And the reason why is because we're flying at 4 times the normal sim rate. I talked a little bit earlier about why I like doing this, especially as a part of the world tour that I'm doing. So We are covering a large amount of terrain relatively quickly and experiencing different parts of the world that I usually do not spend time flying into in the sim, which is a great excuse for me to have those opportunities and to see different parts of the world that I don't normally spend a lot of time in, which also, in my opinion, helps to combat basically sim boredom. You get to a place where you're like, well, I don't know, like I've been here and I've done all this, and it's like, like, you get to a place where you just get tired of flying the same routes over and over and over again because you don't step out of your comfort zone to experience seeing different vistas. Now, do different parts of the world offer massive differences in terms of actual new or undiscovered things? I think different parts of the world have different geographic regions, of course, and they have their unique topography. So seeing places like this and flying in the sim is definitely something which I don't commonly do, which I'm kind of grateful for the opportunity to do today. I am usually doing Microsoft Flight Sim flights or flights in X-Plane 12. I also like to create airports for download for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I will eventually be going purely into FS 2024 scenery development and trying to do some development with X-Plane as well. I've been recently kind of tied up with IRL work. I am a software developer, and the kind of work that I do takes up a lot of my brain power. And if you work in any capacity in ways that make you very tired at the end of the day because you spent all your time, for example, thinking about or working through complex problems, then you know what I mean. Like, you'll get to the end of the day and you'll be wiped, and you want to do stuff, but you basically just don't have the capacity to say, like, like, to think about something like that. And there was a time for a little bit, like literally between, say, like last October to early spring of this year, where I caught a break, and there was a break in the activity, and we were doing things, but we were doing things at a more relaxed pace, which let me catch up and start thinking about projects or things that I wanted to do. I mean, it's life. I get busy with my job. I'm so grateful to have a job right now. I would like to pursue different things with regards to software development, but again, this is where we are right now, so I'm grateful. We have been flying over Iran for a while now, and now I think we are finally about to come into I think we're finally about to come into the country of Turkey. I think. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. So that's it. Once we get into Turkey, we're not flying to any other country. Maybe international waters as we get ready to land, but basically that's it. So this is like the literal last 25 some odd minutes of the flight. And let's take a look and see. Yeah, I don't actually see any descent plan. Let me take a look at the drop. We're at 36,000 feet. At Canco, I need to be at or below flight level 280. And we're going to begin our descent probably even before then. So let's take a look. Can I see Canco here? No. Where is Letbu? Letbu is literally up at the top. So I think I'll see the descent indicator somewhere just past this star. If I don't see it by the time I see Kanko, I'm going to program a initial descent and then start getting ready to go down. Simple enough, right? Right. As it is, occasional sim weather resets notwithstanding, we're having a nice time flying. We have been over just a few weather areas on the way out of Delhi, out of India, out of Pakistan and Afghanistan. The northern coast of Iran on the Caspian Sea had some what looked like rain and clouds, and then we are now coming into Turkey, and we are looking at a pretty cloudless expanse in front of us, and that's about it. Now, let me take a look at the approach for Istanbul. 3-4 left is approximately 12,300 feet long. So, once we land, we're going to have a really long taxi. And then we'll be done. But it's a 12,000 foot long runway, and I figure the faster we stop, the better. So let's go ahead and choose auto brake 4. And arm the speed brakes. Well, I'll arm the speed brakes once we actually start descending, because I don't think you can arm them until you actually begin descent. So that's fine. Also, let's start taking a look at init ref for landing. Flaps 30 would be 157 knots, which is what we'll choose. So the ref plus 5 speed's going to be 162. There we go. We took a really good chunk of passengers with us. Actually, as a matter of fact, why don't I have a little bit of fun and go check out the flight deck? I'm sorry, not the flight deck, the cabin. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Is anybody here? There should be some passengers here. If not, then it is what it is. But this is the first class cabin. And then I think we have a whole bunch of... Oh, no, wait. This is first class too, or is this business class? This is where everybody else is. These seats aren't too bad either. Man. Let's see. Yeah, man. Not too shabby. This is kind of cool. I don't normally spend time navigating the passenger cabins, so that's all right. Let's go ahead and close that door. How far away are we now? Let's see. Okay, there we go. I think I see a top of descent mark, and it's actually on the way into the arrival? Okay. All right. So the computer knows. So now I'm going to go ahead and set my final approach altitude in the MCP. Actually, stand by. That's a lot faster. So, 3,000. And that's good. Not too shabby. Kind of happy with what we did today. Now, one other thought. This is my first world tour, or at least, excuse me, my first world tour that I fully intend on completing. So maybe I'll make things a little bit easier on myself. Maybe I'll actually go north, and instead of flying from Europe to the US, I will go from Istanbul to, let's say, either Helsinki or Oslo. And then maybe I'll go even further north before coming back south. Or instead of going to, let's see, where would I go? I could probably go from Istanbul to either Helsinki or somewhere way north in Norway, anything that would support 777. And then do a short flight to Keflavik down to Morocco, and then maybe Morocco to like the extreme northeastern coast of Brazil, or Morocco to San Juan, and then instead of going up the Caribbean, go down the Caribbean, either from Puerto Rico to like Brazil, or like, let's say, like Argentina, then Argentina to either Colombia or Panama, and then there up to either LAX or JFK. LAX would give me the excuse to go eastbound back up to, say, Toronto, and then ping pong from like Toronto to, I don't know, Calgary to Calgary to like Fairbanks or Anchorage, and then Anchorage back down to Vancouver to close it out. So if I do that, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 legs left. That's actually not a bad idea. I think I like that. Yes, we're still going to taste a little bit of the African continent, but I'm not going to sweat flying absolutely everywhere. I mean, if it's that much of a bother to me, I can always go back and 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 do another tour where I spend more time in Africa. Yeah, I think I like that approach right now. I think I do anyway. So again, thanks to everybody that's actually stopped by today and hung out with me in chat or in Lurk for the flight. And it does look like this is something that I'm going to continue to pursue until we actually get back to Vancouver. It's cool. I would say in the next, like, let's see, 220, 160, 80. So, hour. Yeah, literally in the next 15 minutes we'll begin our descent. What I forget is whether or not the 777 automatically descends once we get to top of drop, but I can always just push the button in and be good. And we are well into Turkey. Ooh, look at that. I see snow. Cray cray. Not impossible, I guess. Amazing. Maybe I'll figure out how to get GSX to show me passengers in the flight deck, in the cabin next time, but it's all right. It's not a major deal breaker, and I've been enjoying myself. Hopefully, you folks have been enjoying the conversation and the just the progression here. It is definitely something that I do not typically do. I welcome all of you here, and I hope that you're having a very good day. If you are not, my prayer is that you feel better, get better, or have opportunities presented to you. I pray God blesses you richly in Jesus' name. I am a born again Christian, and I welcome you here. It doesn't matter who you are, what you believe, you're welcome to hang out here. Now, I do believe personally that man is best when he has a personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ, because it is the way to live, it is the truth, and that means that you have a relationship with God for time and for eternity. But I also don't want to shove what I believe down anyone's throat, and I appreciate you being here, even if that's not your thing. Thank you for saying, thank you for choosing to spend time in this channel and for hanging out with us. The funny thing is, this has become a kind of unofficial, official world tour, and I've been enjoying it. My prayer indeed is that you are well taken care of today, and if you're not, my sympathies to you. And I think a lot of us are dealing with some life issues right now. I wouldn't be surprised if many of us were. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Literally about 10 minutes before we get descent. I mean, we're not that close to top of drop, but we are going at 4 times the normal sim rate. And I think I'm going to keep the sim rate on even through 10,000 feet, because we have a lot of approach waypoints that we're going to be hitting. We're going to make a kind of like, S pattern down, a little snaky snake pattern down to the ILS. Fortunately, there are no vectors we're going to get lined up with the waypoints that are going to take us straight into the ILS approach for 3-4 left. The only sucky thing about 3-4 left is that it is way, way northwest of where we will actually park up. But is what it is. It's the runway that SimBrief assigned to me, so that's fine. But yeah, we're gonna be descending pretty soon, so grab your popcorn, grab a drink. We're gonna have a nice, hopefully a nice conclusion to our flight, Yahweh permitting. What interested me the most about flying over places like Pakistan and Afghanistan and Iran was just the topographical relief, all the mountains that we saw, some in the midst of the desert, like in the midst of desert. It was an amazing landscape. And Turkey is not disappointing either. Wow. Yep, we are almost there. So is there anything that I need to do in terms of a checklist? Descent checklist. Notes, well, I mean, I'm making them up as we go, but we are going to be descending down to 3,000 feet. Hopefully the systems in the plane will take the descent as the constraints allow it. Let's check recall. Okay, nothing to recall. Landing data, we're going to have a VREF of 162. Minimums are roughly like 500 some odd feet. And approach briefing, we're going to approach. So I think we're actually ready for the descent a little bit ahead of schedule. So that's fine. The Caucasus Mountains, is that by Georgia? I want to say it is, but my geography again is problematic. Okay, cool, cool. Yes, that would make sense. At least in terms of my memory. Okay, we are coming back into a densely populated area, so I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing lots of airliners on radar soon, TM, especially when we get our descent. Let me double check weather. Weather for Istanbul. Broken at 3,500, temperature 18, QNH is 1020. So 60 degrees, winds 60 at 15. Okay. Broken clouds 3,500. Yep. Yep. So roughly 64 degrees Fahrenheit is the temperature, which is actually pretty nice. And dew point is 8 Celsius, 46 Fahrenheit. Okay. Simple enough. We're going to be coming into descent very soon, chat. How soon? Very soon. In a little over 80 nautical miles. Okay, we do have some clouds, actually loads of them. I'm going to step away from the flight deck once we begin our descent to prepare for the arrival. Then we're going to chuck ourselves down into Istanbul, land. Going to take a little while to taxi, so I might taxi at 2x, and then no, I'll just taxi faster. We'll park up and say our goodbyes. Let's get the seatbelt signs on. Okay, wing lights on now, and once we begin descent, I will arm the speed brakes. Now, the only thing I don't understand is whether or not this thing needs extra help to descend programmatically. I do not believe it requires it. I think there's certain things that you have to do specific to the 777 that will help you descend properly and at the proper speed, but that's as long as it obeys some, or like the necessary restrictions. I don't care what it does. I think we should be okay. And thanks again to everybody that's tuned in today for the flight. Again. Okay. Literally just like a minute now, and we'll begin our descent. We have a 75 knot headwind. It's fairly beefy. Lost Lake, my friend. Hello. Good to see you. We're coming into Istanbul, not Constantinople. Why they changed it, I can't say. Maybe people just liked it better that way. Okay, so coming up on top of drop. Nice. I like me some They Might Be Giants. Okay, there we go. So it automatically locked into my descent altitude, and now we are descending. Coming in. Look at that northern Turkish coastline. Also, loads of clouds. Amazing how quickly even, what, 2+ hours of streaming has gone by. it's like, I like how these flights go by surprisingly fast. Not that I'm trying to make them, like painless. Like, digital doesn't like streaming. No, no, no. It's not like that. What I am trying to say is that this this is the kind of rate that lets me cover so much ground so fast, and I really like the experience. Okay, so I don't actually see traffic on the fish finder. I don't know why. That person should have been in my radar. It's okay. It's okay. I should pay attention anyway. So transition is 12,000 feet, and we will prepare for our arrival. And speaking of preparing, let me go ahead, step away from the flight deck, get ready for our arrival, and then we will rock the landing. Hopefully. Stand by. All right, chat, I have returned. Coffee Cup Arcade, welcome aboard. Good to see you, my friend. We're coming into Istanbul, and we are coming in hot. At least it looks that way because I'm going at 4x normal speed. But one of the reasons I'm doing it is because we we have a lot of waypoints to hit on our approach. And let's see, let's get those landing lights in place. And what's our fuel looking like in the center? Is it chewed through? Is it used up? Yeah, it's 0.8. So let's go ahead and turn those off. And now we're going to start chewing through the wing tanks, or at least we will. Once we roll out to the south side, I will probably go to 2x speed. But yeah, we've been ripping around you know, Asia for the last couple weekends, and I think the next place that we're going to go to is most likely going to be either northern Norway or like Helsinki. And then if I do Helsinki and it's like less than like a 5-hour flight, then I'll probably do it at 2x speed, and then we'll go from Helsinki probably to Keflavik, and Keflavik back down to um, Morocco. Something like that. Something like that. Okay, here we go. So we are starting to get lined up. Now we are 2x speed because we're like rolling out onto the approach, or rather the south side of like that narrow kind of canal for Turkey. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to go 1x once we really get close to the final approach area. But this is just one way I can cheat my way through an otherwise boring or like really seemingly unnecessary descent. So let me double check. Do we have any issues with airspeed? No, none. All right, double check my checklist. Altimeters confirmed 1019 QNH. There we go. Flaps are going to go 30. We already armed the speed brake. So, you know what? We are 20 nautical miles out from basically landing up with ILS. We're going to go 1x speed here. Back to normal rate. Look at all those buildings down there, man. Okay, so double check myself. We are coming up on the actual approach, and we need to be slowed down. So I'm going to start deploying some flaps. I am assuming approach mode will kick in. What view? Screenshot. Probably tonight I'm going to be off my my main PC, maybe messing around with like a little bit of like Raspberry Pi or like my old tablet just to watch things or catch up on conversations online differently than I usually do. Okay, we do actually have some traffic. Let's go ahead and square up. And they are right there. There we go. I don't know if they're going to be coming into 3-4 left, so I need to start paying attention really fast. Give me flaps 5, please. Looks like it doesn't like descending all that much, all that quickly. Where do we need to be at 3,000 feet by? By Anjek and Elnuk. I mean, I'd better be at 3,000 feet by then, because if I'm not, up new is going to be, I'm going to need to be descending at that point, so. That's okay. Can I still see them, I wonder? Did they go above or below me? I don't know. Oh, no, they're way ahead of me. So they're already on the approach. I don't know if they're going to be landing on the same runway as me, but we'll see. And what was the course setting for the ILS? It's 353. Anybody else that's behind me? We do have some traffic. Okay, but I do think we're going to make our 3,000 foot prep. So we're good. Yes, it does. I don't know. No, this doesn't look like photogrammetry. Although the landscape does look neat. A lot of I don't know, GIS positioning data at work here. It's amazing. And like this is like my first time flying into this place. Why don't I spend more time flying in this part of the world? Seriously. Alright, let's hit the approach mode button. LNAV localizer. And go flaps 10 or 15? 15. We're 3,000. Let's see, what do I do? Probably hit, what, vertical speed? Probably. There we go. How far out am I? Okay, so 15 nautical miles. I think I can start slowing down now. 162. Take some gear. Actually, you know what? That's a little too close to the yellow, so we're going to go 167. BRAF plus 10. And flaps 30. Hey, standby chat. Gotta check out Mrs. Digi. Sorry for the break in immersion. Sorry about that. Miss Digi called for me. I didn't know if it was like a situation or something. So let's go ahead and finish the flight. Okay. So we are ref plus 5. We are fully configured, flaps down. At least I'm pretty sure we are. Now we're fully configured. I could probably do taxi lights if I wanted to. And once we get down to the ground, yeah, we're going to be crossing a few runways, so is what it is. Okay, fully configured before the drop. That makes me happy. And we go.
2,500.
2,500 fully configured. I'm happy. PNH 1020, Barrow 525. Not bad. So, yeah, basically 2 hours and 2 hours door to door. Almost. Yep, there we go. Checklist is good. Winds are out of the northeast at 2-4. So I shouldn't expect to see traffic flying towards me. 1,000 stable. My aircraft.
Marine, Marine.
Where the warnings not going away.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Continue.
One hundred. 50. 30. 20. 10.
We floated. But buttered it. Reverse green. Speed brake should be up. Reverser's normal. Oh, that's why. Duh. Auto brake disarm. $60 knots. Okay, we'll take the next high speed. Daycare signal. That nearly floated into Greece. Wow. Okay, okay, I get it. Well, we made it down safely, and that's what matters. Also, for some weird reason, I don't seem to have anything other than, I don't know, ground textures at default Istanbul. It's okay. It's okay. A lot worse could happen. Also, for some strange reason, stuttering. But don't care. Bring it on. Like, we made it to Istanbul, so whatever. Alright, now, let me slow down for a few moments. While the sim collects itself, I'm going to take a look. I can probably taxi down this taxiway all the way to the de-icing apron. It'll be a while. That's for sure. Now, if I was a proper pilot and paid attention to my, GPWS, like RAAS, like, call outs, then I probably would have set up for a nice approach glide and then flared at the right moment and done all the stuff that you're supposed to do. But it's okay. Let's give it some juice on a taxi, because again, it's gonna be a while. And the low frame rate I'm gonna attribute to just everything loading in and having to deal with a whole bunch of, what is this? I don't know, anomalies, considering that we don't have taxiways here, which is interesting, even though we should. I've got another probably like 10 minutes of taxiing to do. Oh, and it looks like my furry first officer has arrived. Yeah, we've been flying for a bit today. We have been flying. I suspect there were some possible elevation issues, or are elevation issues here. But again, I I really don't care. We got here, and we got here in one piece. I don't care that I'm basically taxiing on grass. I don't care that we had a massive frame rate dip, which has appeared again. I don't care. I don't care that we're taxiing at about 46 to 50 knots because we have a lot of ground to cover. So I do think we've settled the argument, though. I do feel like we're going to be going to Northern Europe next, and then circling back down to like uh, Morocco and going to the Caribbean and probably doing a few stops in South America before coming back up that spine and then going into the States, Canada, back up to Alaska, and then back down to Vancouver to wrap it all up. We will we'll figure out what to do as it happens. I genuinely don't know if I'm going to be keeping up every weekend with a tour flight, but I think it's been roughly the past 4 weekends in a row, give or take a day or two, when we actually did manage to continue with our flights. Okay, this could actually very much be an elevation issue because we're going to be going uphill. And we're going to be passing past a turn, and I think the next turn is going to be going just past the de-icing ramp. But that's okay. Okay. Yep, there go the flaps. Yeah, man. Time to get the beans. Like I said, it's all right. Okay. So once we clear the next set of runways, we should see the terminal. Hopefully, we'll see the terminal, or we have no terminal. It's all right. It's all right. Could be worse. Could be worse. I think the default airport is missing some assets. Entirely possible. Um, Unless, of course, we did pick the right airport, but we actually landed in the old place instead of the new place. Honestly, these are nuances for me. I'm going to pretend everything is set up, and I'm not going to worry about the rest of it. So, if I slow down significantly, the theory at least, and I should have seen a terminal here, but again, not going to worry about it. I'm going to pretend I'm playing Infinite Flight, and we're good. Okay, so chill with that. We're going to turn off the strobe lights, wing lights, and oh yeah, we have a pretty big hole where the terminal is supposed to be. So either the airport didn't load at all, or I picked the wrong place. It's okay. It's all right. This is me learning. So pretend that there was an actual terminal here waiting for me, and that it's not going to result in me going downhill. And Yeah, there we go. It's a thing. It's a thing. Um, so it's not necessarily an elevation issue per se. It's one of two things. Either I landed at the wrong airport, or the sim is still loading in. And I'm probably going to go ahead and say I landed at the wrong airport. Because I think LTFM is the old code, and LTBA, I think, is the right one, the new one. I don't know. I don't know. Again, not a big deal for me at all. I'm going to pretend I made the right choice and that the sim is just loading in. Or I made the wrong choice and we learn together. All right. So, chat, on that rather flat note, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you so much for being a part of today's flight. I had fun. I do not care that I'm looking at something reminiscent of a, I don't know, avant-garde painting. I'm going to go ahead and call it here and just be cool. Let me see who's available that we could say hello to. I don't know. This is, yeah. I'm sure. I am sure that this was a Digi Whoopsie. So, who do we have on? Who do we have on that's actually doing some flying? Well, my friend Fly Conti is flying in X-Plane 12, as is Melvin Leroy. Blending Controller, I think, is probably still flying somewhere. So is 757 Spy. And who else do we have left? We have We Fly Daily and Scott Vars. Um, Let me think. Who can I say hello to real fast? Um, who can I say hello to? I'm gonna go ahead and say, ooh, like Auntie's in a business jet. Yeah, let's go. Let's go pay him a visit. Let's go pay him a visit. Let's go start the raid. All right, folks. Thank you so much for stopping in today. Like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you want the Prince of Peace, and that's Jesus. Thank you so much for your time, my friends. Stand by for the raid. We're gonna go say hi to Fly Conti now. Take care.